What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family bringing you guys the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Give us just a second while we check our audio, and we'll hop right into our discussion. So hopefully, if you guys didn't already, make sure to go back and rewatch our previous video just now on all the updates for the Dallas Cowboys today. What's up, New York Giant for Life, Tampa Bay Gaming? How are you guys?
DJ Crown J, how you doing? There you go. NYG for Life. I gotta say, good little find there in that game day live stream with when Tyreek Hill play occurred. And
oh, that's right.
I wish you would have went back about 15 seconds. You could have heard me screaming about watch Tyreek, watch for some kind of trick play with Tyreek. Just saying, and exactly what happened.
And DJ Crown J, thanks for joining us as well. All right, so yeah, and we looked like we got a notification there as well. So guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We're gonna go ahead and
Sports Highlights. What's up, DC for Life?
Come back and recap everything super fast, and then we'll jump right to it. Sports Highlights, DC4L. Thanks for joining us. Cowboys 42. All you guys, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to hit like on the stream. It really does help out our channel. And I'm pretty sure all you guys are subscribed, but if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe as well. So
yes. So let's start. I mean, listen, we'll go with the Zeke guys just to cover everything. We covered it in the first stream and the breakdown wrap-up. I mean, the wrap-up stream. Yeah, basically, nothing new on Zeke. We're waiting for Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's when the hearing begins.
Hopefully the hearing lasts all the way until after the Eagles game. Just kidding, guys.
Probably won't. But it might, because it is late in the week. There is a better chance that you can see that maybe if it goes into deliberations and it gets a little. What I mean, I think it's the back and forth with the lawyers back and forth. If it takes some time, you can see it go into the weekend, and then Zeke might be able to play this game.
Exactly, guys. It is unlikely they rule over the weekend. At least that's all the reports we've been hearing. It's really unlikely they rule over the weekend. So if they haven't ruled by about 6 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, it's likely that they don't re-deliberate until Monday,
which means he plays.
But they could also come down with the decision during the weekend, guys. It's one of those things we won't know until it happens. But, we'll definitely keep you guys posted.
Yeah. So we just want to get to that Zeke stuff real quick.
So other than that, guys, no real updates on any of the injuries. And the only real new news as far as that was the new guy we signed to our practice squad, the new defensive tackle, Joe Villano.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, guys. His name is... hold on,
I'm pretty sure it's Joe Villano. But I could be wrong. Give us just a second, guys. Let's check.
Joe Villano, you're right.
Yeah, so Joe Villano,
to the practice squad, though, guys. He's on the practice squad, so he's hopefully gonna make that move from the practice squad to the 53 if the coaches see enough from him. So we have to wait and see how practice goes this week and how he kind of integrates in it. And if he does, he'll be the Brian Price guy for our team right now. But other guys like Law Nation and other sites, they do a lot of breakdowns, so you may see more about someone like this who's more obscure, I would say. I don't really know much about this guy, but he's on the practice squad. They could eventually move him up to the 53, and he could possibly play this weekend against the Falcons. So yes, just keep an eye on that, guys.
Yeah, and then Virgil Johnson, thanks for joining us. He said, I wish we could have gotten Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt. I mean, it can't go back and change what we can change. So
I'm sure a lot of teams wish we could have had Dak.
Zeke.
Well, Zeke is different because he was a third pick, so other teams went for need because some teams already had their running back, like the Chargers, the ones above them. But yeah, nobody, that's the thing. Zeke came to us, and
and guys, in somewhat breaking news, we only found out shortly after our
NFL news, guys.
NFL news. So the Colts, guys, of course, Andrew Luck has been hurt. I think with
he's on IR for the rest of the year, so he's out for the year. But
on top of that, guys, so we, I guess, an official reporter for ESPN 107, The Fan, 107.
Multiple sources, guys,
said the Colts are at a crossroads. I'm told it's possible Andrew Luck never plays again. The team is looking at a top 7 pick in the draft. So some people within the Colts organization have real concerns whether he'll be able to even come back to the game. But it seems like the general manager, Chris Ballard, said that the injury wasn't career-threatening, but there's a lot of people who disagree with that. And when they say never plays again, there's just, they were just told that there's a chance he never plays in the NFL. I mean, guys, what can you say? A guy like Andrew Luck, a real competitor, a real player. You never want to see an injury be the reason these guys retire. So, hopefully, he makes the best decision that he's able to make there. But, obviously that puts the Colts in a rough position.
Well, yeah, now that again, that's why they're talking about the top 7 pick because in the 7th pick, they can get a value quarterback there for their team. So that they go that route now with Andrew Luck and kind of that that disappointment because of the injury, it is over now because of that. So I mean, still a lot to be heard from. Obviously, he's gonna get second opinions, and he's gonna get other teams that are gonna be interested in maybe working him out. It's really up to him in the end, but it's a big deal if he's done with his career. If his career is over, that's a big shame. It's too bad for him and his personal achievements and things, and again, his future. He had a lot of potential, and if this is the end for Andrew Luck, it would suck.
Young too. I mean, Sports Highlights said it there. Star players are going sooner than you think. I agree, and
I like
said,
your pick too. Your points there, maybe 30-20. I think something close to that.
All right, let's change gears for a quick second and give our quick game score prediction. Since you said 30-17.
Okay, this is the pre-final prediction.
Personally, I think that we will score over 30 points. I think it's going to be more 34-24.
I agree with you. I agree with you because playing indoors, it helps the Cowboys in a sense. Again, it makes the defense faster as well.
Yeah, we should have got over 30 this past game as well, but.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'll be like a 31 points in that range. Because the Falcons even are not horrible, but they're not great. I'll have to do more again as we go to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday. Of course, gonna have everything more kind of the stat lines, what they're ranked on defense against the run, the pass, how their offensive line kind of stacks up with the rest of the league, what we've seen in the past. So these are important things to see. We're really breaking down the Falcons. That's what we really want to see. So. I see Rack City says that NFL Network has it going 10-6, which was one of our predicting scores at the beginning of the season.
City, thanks for joining on one of the L's to the Chargers. All right, then.
I mean, it could happen, but
I guess it could happen.
Definitely one of those.
I'm sorry, but I see it being much more likely to be to a different team. But again, you really never know. So count them out.
So when it comes back to the Sports Highlights talking about the points and when he predicted 30-17, which I do like actually. It looks like this past game a little bit in the sense of now we have we're still stopping a high-powered offense and holding the 17 points. So I think it would be something like 20 though. At home 20 or 24, like 34-24 or 31-21. I think that could be a 10-point deficit. Sounds about right in my mind for some reason. But definitely, guys, if the Cowboys establish the run and keep controlling the clock and their defense plays the way they've been playing right now on this 3-game winning streak, we could win by more than 10, more than 13, more than 14. You could look at a possibly bigger game than that for the Cowboys if things go right and we do things, as I like to say, the right way.
I agree.
When it comes to using the strengths of our offense and helping, and that in turn helps our defense. So it's hand in hand.
And as far as
oh boy. I like that score, Virgil. I like that score.
Rack City, I'm sorry about that. As far as going 10-6, so far the way the Cowboys have been playing and with all the Zeke stuff, 10-6 seems very likely. I think 11-5.
I would love to see that. That's what we predicted.
I think 11-5 is like that sweet spot where very possible for us to get with or without Zeke. Again, the way the whole Cowboys have been playing offense, defense, and the way that the rest of the teams that we have, coming up as our matchups as well. I'm feeling a lot more confident overall in our Cowboys. So
I agree.
I think 10-6, 11-5.
For our season record,
maybe 12-4.
I don't know.
So it's shoot for the stars, right?
Listen, I wouldn't bank on
13-3.
10 wins. I'll be happy with that. I think that makes us gets in the playoffs. I think 11 challenges, possibly challenges for the division. Anything more than that.
I think it depends a lot more now
on the Eagles.
But
again, I mean, if we get 11 and if we end up 11-5, the Eagles have to lose 4 games, and they have 3 tough ones in a row. So and us twice. So I'm not even counting us. So I'm saying that's 5 tough games out of their last 8 or last 7, I guess now. So that's not gonna be easy. They have Bears and one other team who are winnable for them, and the rest it's gonna be tough, guys. I think the other team is gonna be the Giants, which is still something that could always give you trouble when you facing division rivals. So the Eagles have no easy games except for maybe the Bears, which is their next matchup after they play us. So that's the big one, though, guys. NFL news. Back to that a little bit. I just wanted to bounce out there real quick that Teddy Bridgewater from the more quarterback news, but Teddy Bridgewater, I guess, good news now.
From the Vikings.
Yeah, from the Vikings. He's now, after that gruesome injury from a couple of years from last year, took him out for a year and a half. He's officially back on the active roster. They finally got him. He's going to have a practice, and they're going to play Sam Bradford on the IR for them. Case Keenum is still going to be the quarterback in my prediction, I guess you could say, until Bridgewater is ready to come back, and he's had maybe a couple more weeks. You could see him in there for sure. But the fact that he's back is a big news for him and the Vikings, who again they're having a very good season as well, held together mainly by their defense, guys. But they've been playing better on offense.
I agree.
And now they can be getting better when Teddy Bridgewater comes back. So that's something to watch for in the NFC and the race for the playoffs and the wild card spots. So.
Wouldn't it be crazy if he did come in at the last minute and helped the Vikings, push their way through the playoffs or even win a playoff game or something if they make it that far?
I mean, the Vikings definitely are already leading the division. So,
I'm just saying you never know because there's still time. But let's say that they make it to the playoffs or something and they manage to squeak out a win because Terry Bridgewater.
I wouldn't even say it's even squeaking out because I think that they are good enough. They are one of the solid teams in the NFC.
Yeah.
So now I will say right now, if the playoffs were today, guess who'd be in? We would.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I think we'd be the 6th seed, I think. And, that's all we want. We just want a little glimpse, guys. We got the first win. We play the Eagles.
True.
That's what I want.
So, no, OMFG Google, that's right. Beating Kansas City sent a message and other teams will be worried. I think other teams are worried already because, again,
they see what's happening. They see how we're getting better every week.
And they feel the momentum. Sports Tyler said Atlanta's infamous for blowing a big lead. Cough, cough, 28-3. So, and that's, Atlanta is a team, and I think that shows the one big problem Atlanta had, and they were lacking discipline. Because a disciplined team, a disciplined coaching staff, a disciplined, I guess, cohesive team, all of them together, would have never allowed that to happen.
Yeah, and speaking of, I agree. And
New England ripped the game out of their hands.
I know, I agree. And speaking of coaching staffs, think about this, guys. Little side fact I heard. Jason Garrett's first full season as head coach for the Cowboys was 2011. So what is that? 7 years?
7 years?
Basically 7 years at the Cowboys. Since then, the Cowboys ranked 30th in the NFL in interceptions. So obviously, this is before Byron Jones, before Anthony Brown, before just around where Scandrick came in. There's nobody else there. I mean, this is a pre-issue with the players we have now as far as interceptions the last couple of years. I say 2014 was the last season we had our best defensive turnover season.
That's right.
Now this is our best sack season we've had in a long time. So that's something
too. Over here.
Yeah, that's something that really changes the games and should cause more turnovers. I think will cause more turnovers as the season progresses. So keep an eye on that for our defense. We did, as we spoke in the last video, Kareem Hunt, guys, leading NFL rusher. He had 9 carries,
37 yards.
That's crazy, guys. That is exactly what we needed to do. We got on top of them enough to keep them passing. And that's how we knew that they were going to pass often. We I guess the coaches did plan very well for defending them against the pass, to hold them down. A team that gets almost 400 yards a game, and and scores so high with third highest scoring offense and offense in the league.
We held them to 17 points, guys, which I think that the only
awesome.
other game where we had less points given up was the Giants game.
3, I think.
3. But also compare it to how many points some of these other teams scored. We're talking 40 something with Denver, over 30 at the Rams, over 30 with the Packers. What was Arizona had? Did Arizona have 20 something as well?
Okay, what do you mean against
the Cardinals?
Against
us.
They had 20, I think.
Yeah, so 21. Either way, guys, this is, like I said, our defense, this is their second lowest points allowed. So other than the Giants game.
What's up, Kingstar Vids? How you doing?
Out of all these teams we just mentioned, Arizona and the Giants and all this stuff, it's Kansas City, which, like you said, baby, has one of the highest ranked offenses so far in the NFL.
Yes, I mean, again,
we got to give credit where credit's due.
The Falcons have that similar kind of potential on offense. We know they have that. We know they haven't rebounded very well after the Super Bowl. But I will say this: I mean, they were 3-0, and now look at them. So, I mean, I think they won one game since then. Either way, they're definitely a team that's suffering. We have to take advantage of this team. I don't say it's a must-win, but as a team, it's a game that we definitely could win. And you look at this game and the Chiefs game at the beginning of the season; these were almost losses. When you thought about it, the way the season started, 3-0, 3-0 for the Falcons and 5-0 for the Chiefs, and then things slowed down, got back to reality. Now these teams are showing their weaknesses, and we are getting stronger. And I was saying this on the last stream, guys, and I want to say this again. This is a big deal. I heard this from somebody today. I was discussing about the Cowboys, and the mental toughness that our Cowboys team have from last season. With Dak and Zeke, and led by that squad, basically, more or less the same players we have now. That group of players have gone through some real mental toughness issues last year, losing to the Packers the way we did. And then this year, guys, offseason on, it's been nonstop havoc when it comes to the Zeke situation.
A lot of craziness.
A lot of injuries, a lot of suspensions for the Cowboys. All these things started piling up, you know, and it's been really taking a toll on the Cowboys. I think it really took a toll the first 5 or 6 weeks, but luckily, you know, we got our players back. Everyone's kind of healthy. Sean Lee, Hitchens, you know, David Irving. And like I said, and I think you mentioned it as well, but I remember pushing this from the beginning of the year that this young and experienced defense will be better once we get our main core back from suspension. Once those guys have a couple more weeks to help the young guys get better, and the offense kind of gets set in what they're doing, and the offensive line gels better.
Yeah, experience counts for a lot of this stuff, guys. For them to not only, you know, get more experience out on the field, but get more experience playing together, playing with each other.
Correct.
You know, all of that helps.
But the young guys,
Starvids, thank you so much for joining us here.
The thing is, what's up, Cowboys Abroad? Much love,
Thanks
brother.
For
How you doing?
As well.
So listen, that's what I think. I think that mental toughness that this team has. The fact that we know the Cowboys are getting confident, they know they're getting better on defense. They know the offensive line is really gelling, is really pushing this to the next level with or without Zeke. I think they're very confident. I think that they have mental toughness, something that the Philadelphia Eagles and any Eagle out there watching now or on the replay, you know, give me your opinion. But think about this, guys. The Eagles do not have that mental toughness yet.
No,
they are our version. The Eagles are the version of us from last year for this year. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of the new team on the block. They just hit the scene. They got a bunch of new guys and they throw them in together and they're doing good together. And it's, you know, it's almost like they're gelling faster than they really should. So things are looking up for Philly. They're the midseason champs. No trophies or awards for that. But I will say that, you know, I think that the Eagles are not tested yet mentally. So when they get to the playoffs, and they will get the playoffs, when they get into the playoffs, probably as the division champs, they're going to be tested by teams like us. If we get in there, which we hopefully will, teams like Seattle, teams like, you know, the Saints,
guys,
teams like the Vikings.
You see it all the time in the playoffs where, you know, kind of the teams with real merit, you know, obviously continue on, and the teams who, you know, just kind of manage to somehow end up there.
Teams,
exactly. Yeah. You see the big weaknesses exploited in games like this where you have high caliber, high quality teams competing for, you know, these last few spots on their way to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, unfortunately, the Cowboys have to be included in that. But,
well, I think though, the Cowboys,
again, you know what? This year we can come back and not only win in the playoffs, but make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Well,
that's always the goal.
You know?
I mean, I saw Shango's thing about you don't want to let the Cowboys in the playoffs. And again, we are the team that most teams are fearing right now. So when you look at other teams, you know, this team and that team, and the Eagles and the Seattle and, you know, and whoever, New England, I don't care who.
Yeah,
you throw all these teams out there, the best teams in the league, and you throw them out there, and you start thinking. I know someone said about getting them ranked 8. I never pay attention to those power rankings. I don't like that stuff. But yeah, behind or in front of Jacksonville, it doesn't matter, because in the end, it's you can feel this team really growing and getting better. We must be by far the best 5-3 team out there, and I think that we're getting
scariest.
And definitely no team wants to play. So when you look at the people's schedules and they see us on that schedule, guess what they're thinking? Holy, you know, whatever. They're scared. They are a bit nervous, and I don't care if you are the Eagles. I don't care if you are, you know, the Raiders or the Seahawks later on in the schedule. You know, the Redskins, whoever, the Chargers, all these teams are scared of us, good, bad, or average. They're scared of us because we are one of the dominant teams, and teams are seeing this happen.
Be scared.
Everybody knows, exactly.
All right, guys, let me catch up with a few of you guys here in the comments. And then OMFG Google, you're right. We definitely don't have to worry about Green Bay this year. Rack City, why won't the Cowboys open the roof? And Barbara Long, thanks
only
for joining
17
us.
times
Cowboys
in 71
need to send
games.
A message in this game. I agree 100%.
I agree.
Rack
Continue
City,
to send messages.
Eagles are going to go 8-8. I
That's not
wish
happening.
With all my heart, I wish. Sports highlight. And then Cowboys abroad, what's up? Oh, no, that was DJ Crown J saying what's up to you. And then I think we can beat the Eagles no matter how well they're doing.
I agree.
And that's where we kind of said that, you know, you're going to really see, you know, the Eagles are going to really have a true test of how good, you know, their team actually is against us.
And taking us out of the equation, just who we are and how good we are, and the Zeke situation out. Even with all that, it's still a divisional game, guys. The division rival.
You guys know these games can come down.
They're always close. They're usually close. I mean, look at the Giants. Yeah. Giants almost beat the Eagles. I mean, who would have thought that now, you know, saying that? Yeah. And that was, you know, I know they had Odell, but still, the point is that it's just hard to say.
Well, OMFG Google said it pretty well. Eagles are last year's Falcons.
I mean, hopefully they'll make I don't want them to make the Super Bowl, but yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. They're definitely that team. They were more like us, though. Think about it, guys, because, you know, the young quarterback, they have, you know, the upstart kind of the offense that's just like, you know, kind of new players,
and
kind of
finding just great success with only one loss to carry them so far.
The Falcons were good a couple of years ago with Matt Ryan. You know, they were there a step away from the Super Bowl. So there's a lot of other times they had chances to get to the Super Bowl recently and made the playoffs. They just had a couple bad years, but
well, I mean, the Eagles are in the playoffs. What, 10
couple years ago?
No, I mean in the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, something like that against New England. Yeah, with T.O. Yeah, way back when. But again, they were in. That's the only Super Bowl they ever made an appearance in, and of course they lost.
So there you go.
But
I hope it rains when the roof is open. And Jason Pye, thanks for joining us as well.
Now let me jump over here real quick to one of our running backs, Alfred Morris, guys. He only had one carry, went for 11 yards, as you know, on Sunday against the Chiefs. He's averaging 8.3 yards per carry this season. Remember that?
Stats.
Yeah, that, and also remember he had that big one against the Rams.
That's right.
Like an 85-yard run. So all these things, you know, it's kind of slanted when it comes to Morris's stats, but he has the potential for sure. I think McFadden is being put on ice right now until we need him. If hopefully we don't need him, but if we need him, if something happens with Zeke.
Yeah, now, Cowboys face, thanks for joining us.
Yes, Cowboys face. How you doing?
Destroy the Eagles' soul.
I agree. I don't want to get over happy about like the Eagle game and talk about that. We got to play the Falcons still. This is a NFC champion, NFC Conference champions, guys.
Yeah,
no matter what,
team.
they still have the potential.
They were in the Super Bowl last year. That can't forget about the fact that they have, you know, all these weapons like Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman and all these guys.
And let me tell you something about Zeke, guys, our other running back, which is our star running back. He said this today, guys, on handling like a heavy workload in the games. This is what Jason Garrett said about Zeke. He just wants it, and he's physically sturdy enough to handle it. He gets better as the game goes on. Sunday was a great example. Not a lot of explosive runs in the game, but a lot of 3, 4, 5, 6 yard runs that add up after a while.
So, and not just add up, but the fact that those, you know, those 3, 4, 5, 6 yards he gets
great second downs,
that, you know, most other running backs wouldn't have gotten in a situation like that.
He falls forward for 2 or 3.
Another running back would have gotten, you know, a loss or none or maybe one. Zeke turns that into 3, 4, 5, 6 yards.
That's what makes him the special player. Like McFadden and Morris might get only 1 or 2 after the hit yards afterwards, but he might get 4. You know what I'm saying? And also he sets us when he gets 3, 4, 5 yards on first down, second down, whatever down, it's setting us up for a fantastic, you know, next down. That guy, even falling forward, getting stopped in the backfield, still gets us a yard or 2. So, you know, that's the difference. That's the big loss we get when Zeke's not there. But again, the fact that he can handle this, and he knows it, and Jason Garrett knows it. I just wish Jason Garrett would listen to us more and say, you know, if you're saying these things, Jason Garrett, then why don't you use him more often in the right? When you set up on first down and get 6 yards, and then you abandon the run and have to punt on fourth down because you threw it twice in incompletions or short of a first, that hurts me. Every time I see that, that's a wasted possession. Yeah. In my mind, run the ball again, and now it's 3rd and 1. Now you can run or pass, and you're probably going to get it either way. So it's just you playing the percentages. Go with what's working. And when a team like the Chiefs allow almost 5 yards every carry by opposing running backs, why did he throw the ball so often? Not really on first down, although he did it a couple of times, but he threw it so often on second down after a nice run. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it was incompletions, and we ended up punting. So this is the things I don't like about Gary. I think he's trying to mix it up a little too much, a little too cute. So, you know, well, go ahead. I mean, I don't know, hit some more of his questions.
All right, so let me see. We are going to eat birds for the next 2 weeks, Jason Pye, and then let's go Cowboys family. Kevin Bilbo, thanks for joining us.
Up, Kevin?
Cowboys face. We absolutely can't sleep on the Falcons. Rack City. Yes, happy Thanksgiving, guys. We will be streaming during that, and you know,
we'll have a Thanksgiving special.
Yes,
because we definitely gonna have it here with you guys. Believe it or not, yes,
that's
Thanksgiving.
Right. And then Rack City said Zeke jumped over someone for the first time this year. That's right, he did jump over someone, and again in that situation, instead of only gaining 2 yards, which is what he would have gotten if he hadn't, he ended up getting like 5. So
at
that
least
jump alone.
And again, guys, remember that that actually sparked controversy, that jump, because Tony Romo, when he was doing that play-by-play, he said, "Oh, look, talking about the Chiefs guy who kind of whiffed it completely."
Yeah.
And he was saying, "Look how he makes Deion Sanders look good." So Deion Sanders on NFL Network, of course, former Cowboy, number 21, you know, one of the best cover guys in the league, who never really was a big-time tackler. He never was a big-time hitter, tackler guy. He would avoid hits sometimes. That was his big knock. But other than that, he was the best ever, guys. And again, you don't really know him, but he was the best ever when it comes to a defensive cornerback of some sort. And, you know, he let Tony Romo have it. He goes, how many championships, how many playoff games you won? 2 out of 6 games? Or 2, you know, you're 2-4 in playoffs, or 2-6 in playoffs. You know, I don't know what your record is. He just bashed Romo. And again, I can't really, Romo's going after one of the greatest of all time in that position they're both Cowboys.
Yeah.
I love Romo more because he's been a Cowboy, I guess, for his whole career, while Dion was, multiple teams, the Falcons being one of them, the Niners being another one during those years, and Baltimore, other teams in the future. But he was with us, and he really is a Cowboy. Once you're a Cowboy, you're a Cowboy.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Dion is right, even though I want to say Romo, but Dion is right on this. Dion's got him. Don't talk smack about Dion. He's one of the best ever. Okay, and again,
look,
he made a point. He made a point.
Romo has to talk for like 4 hours straight, guys. So
yeah, he's filler. That's good.
Over
good
and over.
point.
I'm just saying that sometimes they're gonna say things that I don't think he was trying to say it as negatively, as badly as other people were trying to take it. I think he was just genuinely trying to say. His playing style and kind of a joke, because you kind of pointed out, he did do that.
He opened himself up to that.
But at the same time, Romo's got to take his own hits when people make their own little jokes or comments about his career.
And listen, the thing is this: Dion is better. I
don't think it was done.
Dion should be better than that. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, and that's the thing. Tony wasn't trying to be really mean about it. Dion was upset about it. And he's talking about, that 1 year, whatever, 2011, you threw, whatever, 35 interceptions or something. I don't know what he said. He goes, you threw it to everybody in the league but me. So, I mean, in reality, when you're Romo, you had great years. You had years with a lot of interceptions, a lot of embarrassing endings to the season with Romo, and a lot of, unable to complete the next step. I'm not putting it all on Romo. It's not all on Romo.
No, but he is kind of known as the close but no cigar quarterback, because he got it. He
couldn't do it in December.
Greatness can't be denied, but he was never able to, like you said.
So again, Dion won championships with different teams. He's the best at his position of all time, in my opinion. So Deion smack. You can't really talk smack when it comes to Deion Sanders. His one thing that didn't really matter to again was missing tackles or not wanting to take hits. You do know, guys, that. Sometimes Dion, when he was with us, he would cover half the field, and quarterbacks wouldn't even throw if they had two receivers on that side. They still wouldn't throw that side. They'd always look to the right if he was on the left. And the reasoning is because that's why he never really had many chances to make tackles as well. His tackle stats are very low because he never really threw to his side, so he didn't even have to make too many tackles. Now, a lot of arm tackles pulled to the ground, a lot of regular arm wrapping tackles, not many. In the end, though, Dion's the best at that position. Tony Romo opened himself up to that.
Can't be denied,
I agree, it's filler. It's part of the talking thing. But hey, I know we never talked about that. It was out there for a couple of days. Just wanted to get it over with, just to discuss it real quick and move on.
Let me see. Beast Mode Gamer, thanks for joining us.
What's
Game
up?
Changer, Jared Jablonski. Let me see. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you are just joining us now, make sure to hit like on the stream. You guys already know that's one of the best ways you guys can help out the channel. Watching the ads, guys, that really helps out our channel.
Yes,
there's some
very
great
much.
stuff on there. Patreon as well, guys. If you do want to support our channel, help us, improve the stream, improve the quality of our videos. And,
we have different lighting for some of these streams. So it looks like we're trying to take some of that money
and trying to make things more consistent, better quality, like we said, guys. So if you do want to donate and help out that way, you can check out the link to our Patreon down below in the description.
We're gonna have something else too coming out. That's like a one-time thing. This is a one-time thing through Patreon. You can do it that way and set it up that way. But there's if you don't want to do it that way, we do have something coming up soon that could be some kind of like a one-time donation.
Guys, so definitely stay tuned, guys.
Like an offline, like a super chat kind of thing. So we'll figure something out, though, guys. Stay tuned.
Other than that, let's go ahead and catch up a little bit more. So you need Dak to connect with Dez a lot more. I don't understand why that's not happening.
Well, he's being targeted a lot this year. Who said that? Game Changer?
OMFG Google. No, I think it's more. He's being targeted a lot, but I will say I just don't think that Dak and Dez have that chemistry together. And I know this sounds kind of dumb and lame to say because, really the connection that two people have shouldn't have that much to do with the way they play on the field. But for whatever reason, we have these guys who are good receivers, great receivers, but for whatever reason are more successful. And I just think that that's because of the way that Dak reads them, is able to read them, or the way that they're playing. I mean, I don't know. Where do you guys think that kind of disconnect, the breakdown is? I just personally think that Dak just happens to click better, connect a little better with some of the other receivers. Last year, it seemed to be him and Beasley. This year, it seems to be more him and T. Will. But, I don't know.
I think it's T. Will this year, and only because T. Will is the one that's open. And that's the thing. I think you got to remember that when T. Will is the one that's not being covered. When you have Beasley getting doubled, when you have Dez getting double deep, and you have Witt in the middle getting shadowed the whole game, you have no other options. So you go to the other guy, and that's T. Will. He's being the recipient of getting a lot of great, chances to make plays and get the ball and move up the field. Now, unfortunately, against Packers, it's switched it the other way.
Yeah.
But that's the only game I'd say he made a major mistake. Other game, this time he stayed on the ground. He went down in bounds, and he did that little military crawl, which was awesome for this past weekend. But again, these things where finally he did a smart play, and he had, obviously an awesome game. But I don't think that just forgives him for everything yet. I need to see more of the consistent smart play from him, and the consistent, being able to catch 9 passes or 7 passes a game. Yeah. We'll take all that. If we do that, guys, nobody can stop us. It's over. It's a wrap. And now it goes in the run, in the pass. It doesn't matter if Zeke's back there or not,
Yeah, so then Ahmed Chivy said, I just got signed by the Cowboys to play cornerback couch bum. So let me see. Deion and Peters are ball hawks. Pat P is a shutdown. And Deion took it too far. He's heard that his whole career. Let me see. When are you going to play me in Madden? So Game Changer, if you do want to play in Madden, make sure to click, send a friend request to our gamer tag. It's in the description down below. And then Eagles are so inexperienced at Super Bowl, they thought it was something you brought a spoon to. Safeties are watching Dez heavy. So, yeah, I think that's another factor, too. Dez has been pretty shut down. If he's not double covered, they have their best guy on him.
Dez gets
he's the guy, that, again, the flashing beacon that draws those big guys off of the rest of our other guys, decoy. And they get open. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Eagles are going to be off next week because of their bye. So, again, it'll be interesting to see how everyone's records line up. Now I believe that they're the last team in the NFC East to have their bye, because I think the Giants had theirs, Redskins had theirs, we had ours. So, we'll officially be able to see exactly where all of us stand. And, let's keep going and see what happens. So, Sixers JT, thanks for joining us. Rumor, Giants are hoping to draft quarterback Sam Darnold. Does he succeed with the healthy Odell and Shepard, or is he a bust? Do you think they pose a threat down the road?
Sixers JT, I don't really know much about the college guys. I got to be honest with you. So, I'm not going to sit here and say, if I don't know the guy. I really haven't heard about him. I don't know. I just think that any rookie quarterback, no matter how good, even someone like Dak Prescott, you just couldn't predict him being able to take the team on his shoulders the way he did with help from Zeke. But two rookies, and Wentz, the same thing. You don't really can't. These guys are rare. Jared Goff is now turning into this. But again, is he that kind of a quarterback? I don't know much about him. But if I have not heard about him yet, I'm assuming that he's not to that caliber. So I would say Giants going to, if they do that, they're probably going to need a couple of years before he develops.
Not just that, but again, this guy could be Tom Brady. You can put him back there, but without an offensive line, it doesn't matter.
Very good point.
So,
good point. Great point. They need the offensive lineman first.
Maybe I can give this guy all the credit in the world, but we saw how much Carson Wentz improved in this 1 year, not just because he went from rookie to a more experienced sophomore.
They got more not necessarily offensive line for him, but it was more offensive weapons.
Exactly. So just saying, guys, for the Giants, I would say it's more the offensive line
for
specifically.
Sure.
So
because they have the receiving weapons.
There's no lack of weapons, but I will say they have a problem with the quarterback actually connecting to those guys. But anyway, let's
best quarterback in the draft.
Helen Newman, thanks for joining us as well.
Then maybe it's not a bust for the Giants.
And then the new defensive tackle, guys, we signed Joe Villano to our practice squad.
Practice squad, guys.
Let's see what happens with him.
So he's a practice squad guy, and he's probably the guy that's going to be moved in. If he pans out for the Cowboys this week, he'll be the one that probably gets moved into the active 53 and to play the Brian Price role. Hopefully he can do it close to anything, as well as Brian Price did, who seemed to do a pretty decent job at what he was, brought in to do. So hopefully this guy can do that too. This Joe Villano.
So Sam Darnold's projected the best quarterback in the draft. So there you go, and guys, we will be looking more into the drafted, the draft and all the players available once this football season is officially over, and we'll be catching up on all of that. So, definitely stay tuned, but keep these names in mind and let us know who you guys want to see more information about as well. So,
for sure.
Will Rico Gathers come back this week? So, Jared,
good question there.
Rico so far,
he's not practicing, guys. He's not practicing. Is no sign at all that he's going to practice. There's no sign at all he doesn't practice. He's not going to play. He's not going to come off the IR. I don't know how many more weeks he's eligible before he has to stay on IR for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but
pretty sure it's another week or so.
Yeah.
Probably by next week, the Cowboys have to decide they're going to keep him on IR the rest of the year, and you can't get him off of it, or you're going to keep him on the active 53. And again, the fact that this is so hush-hush right now, I think the Cowboys are trying to extend it as long as possible. So if they have to go to this and say, we've got to keep him on IR, they'll keep him on IR and say it's a jaw, neck, and still concussion symptoms, which is very vague and still can be used to put him on IR. unless it's for real as well, that would also be another reason. But then the other thing is, if there is a need for, if there's an injury, something happens to one of our tight ends or something well, I don't want to say it, but Witten or something like that, then maybe they rush Rico back in. So again, these are things I'm thinking if he's able to play, of course. Yeah. But I really don't expect to see him anytime soon. I really expect it to be IR for the rest of the year and just focus on next year to be his breakout year. So
Henry Rustin, thanks for joining us as well.
What's up, guys?
Let me see. Yeah, so I guess let's go ahead. We'll touch on 2 more things, guys, and then we are going to
Thanks, Sports Highlights. Do
wrap
that.
it up. So that's awesome. And then let me see. Dak is still young but great.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, and speaking of, thank you for that, though. I'm glad you brought up Dak, guys. I want to tell you something, guys. I want to talk to the whole fam out there, all 20 of you, whoever's out there. By the way, guys, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Listen, guys, through their first 24 NFL starts, here's some of the best quarterbacks in history, and after the first 24
starts. And I'll be right back. Peanut 310, thanks for joining us as well.
Yes, what's up, Peanut? How you doing? Hush hush because of Jarwin? No, Jarwin. I don't think they are hush hush because of Jarwin when it comes to Rico. But anyways, guys, let me see. Sunday, I had you guys on my phone. Awesome, man. Awesome. Yes, we're trying to do it every time, Ahmed. So definitely keep checking back for those game day live streams, and these as well, guys. We do this every day, so don't forget it. Now let me break down some of these stats, guys. This is through the quarterbacks through their first 24 NFL starts. Dak Prescott, 24 years old. He has 18 wins, 66 completion percentage, 5,485 passing yards, 39 passing touchdowns. Only 8 interceptions. He has a passer rating of 102.4, and he has 10 rushing touchdowns. Now, I'm going to go to Tony Romo, guys. He had 18 wins as well. But he was very close to completion percentage, 65%. But he had 1,000 more yards than him, over 1,000 yards more than Dak. He had 51 touchdowns passing, but he also had 27 interceptions. His passer rating was very good, 99.1, but he only had 2 rushing touchdowns. So Romo definitely comparable in that sense. Brady, guys, Tom Brady, 16 wins at this point. Dak had 18. He threw for, again, about the same completion percentage as Dak so far. He's the same amount of yards as Dak so far. They both threw exactly the same amount of touchdowns so far. Now, Brady threw 22 interceptions while Dak thrown 8. Passer rating, Tom Brady, 89.1. Dak 102.4, and of course no rushing touchdowns for Tom Brady. But he got other ones, great ones like Peyton Manning, who had a rough start. He was way below anything Dak has done so far. Aaron Rodgers is one of the more comparable ones. He only had 10 wins at this point. 63% completion percentage. He had 6,200 yards. So again, a pass-oriented guy. Same as Dan Marino, guys. Dan Marino, the other one, only one had a better passer rating than Dak Prescott was Dan Marino, 105.4 passer rating. Brett Favre, he had 79% passer rating at that point, 79.9 passer rating. And again, only 15 wins, 27 interceptions for Brett Favre. John Elway, 14 wins only, 52% completion percentage, a little under 4,000 yards, only 24 passing touchdowns. The only guys that passed for more touchdowns than Dak, Tony Romo, Peyton Manning, and Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I'm sorry, and Dan Marino, of course. But you can see the difference, guys. Dak Prescott's not a pass touchdown crazy guy, and look at his stats are showing right now, guys. So, I'm looking at all these things interceptions wise. The closest person to Dak out of these great NFL quarterbacks, I'm trying to look right now. It looks like it's Aaron Rodgers with 18 interceptions, and then Dak has 8 at this point in their careers. That's crazy. And like I said, passer rating 102.4 for Dak Prescott. The only one that passed him, Dan Marino, 105.2. But Dak, 10 rushing touchdowns. The closest one to him, Aaron Rodgers with 6. Pass touchdowns, like I said, tied with Tom Brady. Passing yards, just right there in the middle of the pack with Tom Brady, with doing better than John Elway at this point of his career. Better than Brett Favre did at this point of his career when it comes to passing yards. When it comes to completion percentage, Dak 66%, better than everybody on this list, guys. Dak's the best in completion percentage after 24 games at quarterback, and wins tied for the best with Tony Romo. Tied for second with Tony Romo. Number 1 was Dan Marino. He had that awesome rookie year, probably only matched by Dak Prescott. So keep those things in mind. These are big things, guys. I posted this whole breakdown so you guys can get a better look at this. I posted this on our Twitter page. If you look below, you can see it. You can see it in our description. You can jump on Twitter and make sure you guys sign up through there and just follow us, guys. We post some information through there at times that we can't show you through our phones. So I agree, Jalen Smith. I agree with Sixers JT. He's no Ray Lewis. Sorry, David Williams. And David Williams throws out those same questions. I think I've answered these like 4 times. Simus, what's up? Yeah, I think you already heard about the defensive tackle we signed. Just a practice squad guy, Joe Villano. The extra 1,000 yards, Romo. Yeah, exactly, Ahmad. That's the thing. We don't need Dak to throw for that many yards like Romo did. We don't need that much like what Dan Marino did those years when he didn't have no running game. So I love the fact that we have, a really good core of players, guys. When you have Zeke and Dak put together, we're really unmatched, unstoppable in a way. And again, that's just part of it. The huge part of it, the other part of it is the offensive line. I mean, the fact that we have those 3 solid guys, and now I'm saying 2 because Tyron Smith doesn't look good for him, guys. Again, I discussed this earlier in the stream. Discussed this in the news breakdown one. Unfortunately, Tyron Smith is suffering from a groin injury, and he's very. I'm going to say doubtful to play. They haven't announced it yet, but that's what I'm going to guess. Tomorrow is Veteran Day for him. He gets every Wednesday off, so don't read into that. But Thursday and Friday, if he doesn't go out there, and he's not playing, guys. And Awuzie on the other side, Awuzie is going to probably play. Look for him to be limited on Wednesday, and then Thursday, hopefully either limited or full, but hopefully full by Friday. So he should be playing against the Falcons this weekend. Those are the 2 big ones. Of course, Dak, he's going to be playing. T. Will, he's going to be – I'm saying Dak. I meant Dez. Dez will be playing with his 2 hurt ankles and his knee. He's not going to be 100%. And T. Will not going to be 100% either, but he's going to play with his hurt ankle. He'll be in there. So
that's right. Quick second to say thanks for joining us here, Sixers JT, Bionic Cam for the win, David Williams, Game Changer, Ariana Garza, Mr. Wright. Thanks for joining us as well. Give me a second while I scroll back through the chat. I make sure I don't want to miss anybody. Ahmed Chaibi, if I didn't say hi to you, what's up? Peanut 310, DJ Crown J, Kevin Bilbo, Sports Highlights, Henry. Every Cowboys Abroad, every single one of you guys who's out here, thank you so much for joining us and watching with us here tonight. Let's go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our season MVP, mid-season MVPs.
Yeah, guys, so let's go ahead and
that's what we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're going to do our official My Cowboys Family mid-season awards. Let us know who you guys think should be the winners. We'll go ahead and go say who we think. I mean, we're pretty much on the same page for most of these.
We both announced, and a lot of you guys talked with us yesterday about who's the overall MVP for the team, every position included. We both said Dak.
Yes.
So that's kind of still stands for us, obviously. But how about MVP for the team, but not quarterback? Who would you say would be the MVP on the team, excluding Dak Prescott?
I would say DeMarcus Lawrence. You have to give it to him.
Wow. I guess for the games that he's played, you wouldn't give it to Zeke?
Not this season so far.
All right. It's fair enough. I like what you're saying.
But again, and this is not saying that any of these other guys haven't done great or done all these other things. I'm just saying that
when you're
looking at so far, not counting Dak, from week 1 to where we're at now, DeMarcus Lawrence.
You changed my mind, baby.
So
you changed my mind because I was thinking Zeke, but Zeke has not had a good first couple of games. I don't think that's his fault. The reason I said Zeke almost is because everything he's dealt with. And to still put this team on his shoulders and do what he's done, especially the last couple of weeks. And again, when he can't run, it's not his fault, guys.
I agree.
It was the line blocking. So the line has gotten better, so he's got a chance to breathe. And that little breath is all he needs to get through that line and break 4, 5, 6, 7 yarders out of pop and more, which obviously has just tremendously helped our team. But I say Zeke, but I do think I like your pick better in a way because DeMarcus Lawrence has been the most consistent from start to finish. He's had 10 half sacks. He's he's the key reason that we've held it together on defense. Him and I would say a little bit of Byron Jones.
He's really stepped up to be a defensive leader and just balling out.
So, I agree.
Thanks for joining us. Simus 1974. So remember, Chaz Green or Byron Bell. Remember, Tyron Smith, it's not 100% that he's out. It's just very likely that he will be out just because of that groin injury. Yeah. But again, there's still a good chance that he could come back, guys. We'll keep you updated, so make sure to check back
Game Changer.
On that.
Probably tomorrow we'll be doing some more of the My Cowboys Family PlayStation Madden Football League. That's when I'll probably be able to play, so look for me then. But I want to go up a couple of questions here, too. A comment by Simus, 1974, about DeMarcus Lawrence agreeing with you. Okay, I said Zeke,
but
I was kind of convinced.
You guys in the chat are saying
I was kind of convinced, but I like – well, exactly. You guys agreed. So you guys are all – I said that's why I was trying to think Zeke. A little different, but like I said, I think your case that you made is fantastic, the most consistent for sure. But then he says, Simus says David Irving, as an honorable mention. And I think at the end of the year, David Irving will be the one.
I agree.
Will be better.
So, like we said, just
mid-season,
looking from week 1 to now, I would have to give it to DeMarcus Lawrence. So,
yeah.
in sports highlights, I did see that. Thank you so much for helping us out there, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Again, we're slowly but surely working our way to 1,000 sub, guys, and we're gonna, hopefully have a great, exciting.
Yeah, when we hit 1,000, we're gonna have an awesome stream, and also stream. This sounds weird. It's like we're going to the bathroom.
It's a great stream.
Yeah.
Great stream.
Yeah, but we're gonna have super chat up. We're gonna do some fun stuff for that. Unfortunately, though, it looks like they are like unmonetizing all of our live streams. So I don't know if we're the only ones having that right now. Other people are starting to have that problem. It just, I don't know. It's something new that YouTube's throwing in there and making it harder for us to improve. Like the lighting, as you can see, we've improved that the last couple of days, and we continue to make improvements to this site. And we have a lot of big plans, guys. So if you want to contribute, there's Patreon. There's a lot of things coming soon, and we'll be talking about that. That's a side thing, guys. The main thing here is Cowboys. That's what we talk about.
So let's continue on with our awards. So we said our
DeMarcus Lawrence sounds like the winner. Consensus by you, myself, and of course my Cowboys family out there.
And Cool Boy, thank you so much for joining us here. We do daily live streams on the Dallas Cowboys, giving you all the news, all the information.
And if you look back, if you look back just a half hour ago, an hour ago, you'll see that we had a wrap up like Cowboys news update, which we just do. Not really interactive, even though you guys can chat. There's really no chat screen like you see here that's going to save on these streams. That's just for us to get the information out there to you guys in a consent kind of compact way for people that don't have time to listen to this or join us for this live stream. So that's why we're doing this new thing. Let us know if you think it's working out well. But watch that one, because that actually sometimes has information we miss on this stream. So definitely check that stream out as well, and hit the like button for both. It's helpful, guys. Thank you. Now, next guy, guys, most surprising player of the year, offense, defense, special teams, whatever. Go ahead, baby. I'm going to throw it out to you.
I'm going to say, I'm sure we're all thinking it Jeff Heath.
It
makes me feel
you turn my stomach.
It makes me feel dirty to say it.
No, I disagree. Most surprising.
I'm sorry, but I would have never in a million years thought he would have had to kick for our team. And I never in a million years would have thought he would have had an interception against Alex Smith. So, if only for those two big moments alone, I would say he's the most surprising. But there's
a lot of different reasons. I would say most surprising for there's a lot of guys you can pick from. I mean, I'm going to go into.
And when I say surprising, I truly mean a surprise. Like I never in a million years expected this player to do that. That's the way I see that.
Was it kicking? Is that what you're talking about, or what part of it with Jeff Heath?
Both things with Jeff Heath.
But he's just 1 week. I wouldn't even bother with that. See, that's the thing. He's not. He would be definitely not the most surprising player. I would say someone like Xavier Woods, someone like Jordan Lewis, someone like DeMarcus Lawrence. You got to remember, he has been a surprise in a way. Tyrone Crawford, somebody else. But again, you can say David Irving, but I expected David Irving to do this. You can say Jonathan Cooper. I mean, kind of a surprise to go in there. You could say La'el Collins.
And
there's a lot of different things you guys can say.
1980, thanks for joining us. Are we ready for Atlanta? We are. I'm really excited for this game. Make sure, keep up with us throughout this week. We're going to be really, really breaking it down a little bit more on Friday. And, baby, I hope you don't mind holding off with your picks until then, because we might have a few different picks.
You're going to do NFL picks?
Yes.
Okay.
So, so let me see. So, a few of you guys, let me see. So, you're saying Mr. Rice says Jonathan Cooper. Is
there you
go. Surprise? Jordan Lewis. Let me see. Jordan Lewis with David Williams again. Let me see. So, guys, those are all good ones. And
I brought those out too.
Definitely one of those guys.
I think Xavier Woods not enough time yet. He has to do some stuff on tackling. I think Jordan. I'm just trying to look at all the things. Jordan Lewis still is having. Again, these both guys are rookies. Jordan Lewis has been great in a couple games, and he's kind of been not that good in a couple of them. So I'm going to lean to someone like DeMarcus Lawrence, who to me is surprising, and someone. And I'm going to give it to Jonathan Cooper. For me, personally, that's why I think Jonathan Cooper has been the most surprising because we were hoping, and he dropped down behind Chaz Green, and then Byron Bell was getting some time with in that spot as well. So Cooper was almost forgotten about for a little bit. And then when Green got hurt, Cooper really did a real good job after he had a week under his belt of practice with the starting offensive line. And then he's been really, other than a couple missed blocks, here and there, he's been fantastic, Jonathan Cooper. So I gotta say he's the most surprising and the most needed, actually, because we need the offensive line to stay good. And again, having Travis Frederick on the right and Tyron Smith on the left, it's going to help a lot. We'll see how it's going to change if Chaz Green.
You just said Tyrone Crawford.
Again, he's another guy I mentioned as well. But again, he's still on the board. He's getting there. But I give it more to David Irving or DeMarcus Lawrence than I do to Tyrone Crawford at this point when it comes to most surprising. Because even though I thought David Irving would do great, I didn't think he'd do this great, this fast right off his suspension. So, there's a lot of surprises out there. But I think Cooper It's the most important surprise, I guess you can say, for me. So let's go to the next one. Which was the most disappointing? And do we count players that are off the team? Like DeMontre Moore and Carroll? Because we knew Carroll stunk. DeMontre Moore was the most disappointing.
I guess we can include him because they still were part of the team during that time. But I'm going to say personally, Anthony Brown.
100%, baby. You got it. Let's go with people that are still, because DeMontre Moore is a disappointment, and a couple other guys are disappointments.
But they're gone, and they didn't have time to really disappoint us.
It's disappointing that no fault of his own, but disappointing that Stephen Pyatt couldn't have a full season and a good season under his belt, like healthy. So when you look at it like that, with the guys that are out there, let's concentrate on the starting 22. I agree 100%.
Yeah,
without question.
I'm going with Anthony Brown, guys. He had such a great rookie year. We all had big expectations for him. He's fallen very short of those. He's had a rough time. He's probably the weakest link
what
in
others
our
think out there,
situation.
I agree.
Right now, the way that we fixed it, because before, it might have been a little different for me, but the way that we're playing
Anthony
our
Brown
now,
for sure.
I would say Anthony Brown.
Now I see some people saying Malik Collins. TJ Crown J said Malik Collins. I disagree. Malik Collins has 2.5 sacks. He's not really necessarily a sack specialist. So he does what he need to do in that middle, and he's helped a lot. He's caused a lot of turnovers.
He played the last 2 games with that ankle or with that injured
foot injury. Yeah. So. Now I see people saying Jeff Heath. See, I already knew Jeff Heath was going to suck, so he's disappointing me. I knew he was going to be. Actually, he's impressed me a little bit, like what you said with the kicking and the interception last week. Other than that, he's garbage. Yeah, so I suspended. Now, disappointing. Some people are going to say Byron Jones. I don't think he's. Actually, I think he's. He hasn't been as great as I wanted him to be, but he definitely has not been. He's not been disappointing. Now, Scandrick you can throw in there as disappointing for some of the season, but he's had a great couple of weeks.
I would say again, it's hard because a lot of Cowboys were disappointing much earlier in the season, but Scandrick is one of those guys who's been on his way up since the Cowboys came back from their bye week. Some of his best playing.
Thank you.
Date,
I was gonna say thank you, Sports Highlights, for that, man. We do our best. We just try to be honest and as non-biased as possible, revolving around NFL, but mainly Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. Now, thank you guys. And Mr. Wright, you're saying Jeff Heath. So, and again, we understand, we feel your frustration with Jeff Heath. We are not.
I expected it though from the beginning. You can watch our first videos, guys. Go back and watch 200 plus videos back. And that's 4 months ago, and you'll see us both say Jeff Heath is garbage.
Well, no, Ahmed said Heath's problem. He faces downfield. You're not supposed to do that when you're a safety.
Good point. Good point, Ahmed. Good job. Yes.
DJ Crown J, I agree about Anthony Brown. Last year against this year has been night and day. So I still have the hopes that Anthony Brown can turn it around.
Yes.
And we know the potential is there. Whatever seems to not be clicking, I just hope it changes.
Yeah, I hope so too. I see David Williams saying about who's a new defensive tackle. We can say that now. Again, the guy we picked up on our practice squad, David Williams, the practice squad defensive tackle. His name is Joe Villano. Joe Villano. He's defensive tackle, defensive tackle, nose tackle. Basically, he's going to play the same thing as Brian Price did. But right now, he's in the practice squad. We got to hope probably by the end of the week, if he produces as the coaches expect him to, he should be on the active, at least on the 53, and we'll see if he makes the active team, active 47. So yeah, I mean, those are I would say I think most of the people out there saying, Anthony Brown. I'm seeing some other comments.
Yeah.
Nolan Carroll, we agree with. Nolan Carroll definitely disappointed. I wasn't disappointed because I didn't think he was going to be that good. I think he was very disappointing in that he was so bad.
It's hard to be disappointing when your expectations are already kind of low.
But he's so bad.
As far as Zeke, again, no real updates. We'll know more Thursday once the judges start.
Yeah, as we said, it's going to be 2 p.m. Thursday Eastern time. 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday is when it starts. If it goes into the weekend, Zeke might play. So look for that being a factor. The fact that it is in the afternoon on a Thursday, which is later in the week, and we don't have this Judge Chin, Judge Chin is supposed to be very pro NFL. So luckily he's not in this panel of 3 judges reviewing this case. So if it takes a couple of days, Zeke plays. If it takes a day and a half or 2, we'll see what the ruling is, and we'll go from there. So.
All right, guys, let's keep going on with our mid-season awards.
Now, what would you say is the worst moment of the season so far? The worst moment. I know the worst moment.
Okay, if I had to pick one,
I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers hitting that touchdown and beating us in that game. It's just heartbreaking. I think that it still hurts me.
I think that one. I guess that one was. I don't know. I'm trying to think if that one or the Rams. Well, that's the thing. I'm torn between that one and the Rams. There was
a whole bunch of moments in the Rams.
Yeah,
that just slowly saw us, going underwater and sinking.
I'm trying to think what I'm going to personally say. It was. I don't know. It's so hard to pick, but you know what? If I had to narrow it down to just one, I'm gonna say it was that Switzer
fair catch.
Just because
it
the way that
game.
It felt,
yes.
You could feel
it turned us for 2 games.
Changing.
It basically almost felt like 2 losses came from that.
Exactly, and the fact that it kind of eerily was mirrored in that same Green Bay game where it was, again, same situation where they had, around 2 minutes or so, and they just got the ball back, and we just scored or we just put points on the board, and they, kind of were able to take the momentum back from us. I just feel like that Switzer one, to me, like, again, I know it was. It's maybe not the most devastating.
No, I like that. I like that as another choice.
It
definitely
impactful
for sure for the first 8 weeks. The first 8 games, not 8 weeks, because we've played 9 weeks.
That
but yes,
whole Denver game has.
I like that. Again, it's hard to say that whole second half of the Rams game. The whole, I would say the second half of the Packers, but I'd say the third quarter of the Packer game, and then the last play. And going on one moment, it's got to be that dagger in the heart when they hit that touchdown. That hurt me.
Most people are agreeing with you,
my chest hurts,
and they're saying that Green Bay Hail Mary, and again,
I like that there's a lot of different. Somebody saying Rams, someone saying Denver game, the Packer game. Every L. It seems like that. Right? Every loss we had, it hurts.
Every loss hurts.
Has its own special.
We had to narrow it down
to one moment.
Yeah.
One moment. It's got to be the Packers.
Yeah. Oh, T-Will pop-up catch, which turned into a pick 6 game changer.
That's a good. Hey, that's a good one too.
I gotta say,
definitely changed the game. I would say that's comparable to the Switzer Rams.
Good point.
But the one that trumps that, because of that one moment, because we still had a chance in both games. But that one moment that we lost against the Packers, that touchdown the second time hitting Jordan Lewis on a great coverage the first time, and almost possibly an interception the second time, and we just couldn't get into overtime, couldn't get it to the win. And again, the plays go back really to when we had the ball and it was 2nd and 2 on the 11, and we threw the ball and stopped the clock. That is when it started to be negative. But we had a touchdown the next play with Dak running it in, but I just felt bad. You felt sick. Something was still off, and you knew Aaron Rodgers was coming in there, and they were only got a couple wins this year, the Packers, because Aaron Rodgers is out for the year, but one of those wins happened to come against us when they had their best guy in there, one of the best quarterbacks in the whole league in history. So
all right, guys, and to finish up our midseason awards,
the best moment. We got to save the best for last, right? So what's the best moment, baby, in your opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys this season so far, moment? And we can talk about, game-wise, and we can take moment-wise, but let's go moment-wise first, guys.
So I'm going to say it was...
For this season, guys. This season.
It was that Orlando Skandrick play.
The block kick by
the
Crawford?
Block kick by Crawford and Orlando, just because...
Against the Redskins.
It's one of those things you very rarely see. It just the momentum, the excitement, that feeling of, oh my God, what did we just see? What just happened? Go Skandrick. And just the fact that it was just one of those plays where it just felt like it captured everything about football that I love. I love seeing those crazy plays like that when they go in our favor. And it just, I don't know.
It really turned a lot of things in that game. That was a big swing, right?
It
10-point swing.
It was, and not just that,
10-point
but just
swing.
Again, what it means overall for this whole team, the fact that we have players on our defense and our special teams that can make plays like that, I don't know, guys. It gives me a lot of hope. It makes me happy to see. I think that play for me, we've had a lot of great plays, lots of great touchdown celebrations. I think for me that's going to be the play so far of the season.
I'm trying to find something else right now.
Well, let me see. So,
but I right now I gotta agree with you, baby. I mean, that is a season-turning play, in a way. You think about it, and again, there's a lot of things, a lot of exciting plays that happen. I think you go back to when against the Cardinals when Zeke kind of woke up, like you saw him have a breakout game.
Mr. Ray said that Dak dive over the Cardinals. That was a good one.
That was good, but was it as momentous as the one you mentioned?
Well, remember, it was also we were coming back after that horrible Denver loss. So, for us, I think that was the one that really got us to capture the momentum back.
Sure, get it back for a little, but then
were finding their mojo.
But then we lost the Rams and then we lost the Packers. So it really wasn't as momentous as needed. Now, I will say this. What about I'm going to say this one. What about, I said this was the worst moment in a way with the Packer game, but what about our best moment was basically the drive against the Packers that really woke up this team, this coaching staff, that even though we lost, and even it was a heartbreaker, the worst moment of the game, of the season so far was that Packer game, in my opinion. But that touchdown, that drive, not the touchdown, but the drive was really the most momentous, best play of the moment of the year, because that really, I think, it really gave us confidence for the next 3 weeks. As you can see, we had a bye week, then we had some great. It's really set our line together, and I want to say the offensive line is where where everything turned. And I think that's where it turned. And that drive in the fourth quarter against the Packers, we took up 9.5 minutes, and we could have taken up 10.5 and won the game. So I think
that was our critical mistake. Right. I have to say,
right. I mean, I'm just saying, but I do think that the best one moment, though, the exciting moment, the game-changing or season-changing moment, you win that one.
Yeah.
I agree
Game
with
changer
you.
best moment was the bye week. Oh, that's a good one. AJ
Again,
Vasquez.
that ties into all these things we're talking about.
So actually, AJ Vasquez said a good point. Greatest part of the season, shutting down the Giants after how we got played out last year.
That definitely was a nice kickoff of the year.
Corona, thanks for joining us. And I want a rematch to Rack City. And Dallas Cowboy fan 1980, you made a good comment here. I want to read that. So you said the loss to the Rams and Packers don't count to me. We weren't the same team as we were now. Obviously, we're much better. And we also didn't have Sean Lee. Unfortunately, we do have to take that L, and as much as I don't want to, I will agree with you in the sense that we do look like we're a different team. In Green Bay, we started seeing kind of the beginning, the early foundation of the team that we're seeing now, which is, just a team that's going out there and dominating.
And again, that game we had, I'm sorry, that game we didn't have Sean Lee in. Did we have Sean Lee in that? Oh, we did have Sean. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think. We didn't have Sean Lee and Hitchens for the Rams game, and then we got Hitchens back for the Green Bay game, and we didn't play bad.
Yeah.
Hitchens is good. Is almost great, I would say. And Sean Lee is great. But you need both of them out there for them to excel, to be the best, to be one of the tops as a defensive unit. And you need both Hitchens and Lee. When we got both those guys back against what was it? Against after the bye week. So against the Niners, I guess. When we got them back, our defense turned to another page. And again, I think it started with Hitchens being there. With Hitchens being back against the Packers, and just
Sean Lee on his coming back in after
the bye week, right? Because we missed him for a couple of weeks, and and he also played bad against the Broncos. Sean Lee, that was without Hitchens, and he had Jalen Smith, who did not do enough to help him, and that's what Anthony Hitchens does do better. Saying that you have to understand that the Hitchens helps Lee by just being there and being able to do what he does and know the defense the way he knows it and control and be a team leader with Lee. That need Lee. It's like 1A is Sean Lee and 1B is Anthony Hitchens, and we need both these guys playing at the same time to excel as a defense.
All right, guys. So low-key Rod Smith is going to be our second running back.
Remember
this, Rack City. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to keep that locked in. So Ahmed said the worst moment, Aaron Rodgers getting hurt the following week.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's again, we never want to see players hurt, but I'm not going to lie and say that wasn't one of the first things that we said. Made me think back and said,
what? Wait,
out of all the times to get hurt, you could have done this last week.
Well, we don't want him to get hurt, but yeah.
I'm just saying, if someone has to get hurt, whatever. So Ruben Benitez, now our defense is playing physical.
Yes,
so
aggressive, physical, and as I said many times before, in the beginning, but guys, from the beginning, I was thinking more because of the suspensions and the players coming back on the front, like David Irving and DeMontre Moore at the time, and our rookies needing time to kind of get better and get more experience, that by week 8, week 9, week 10, you're going to see our defense excelling. Go back and check that. Because it's happening, guys, and I love it because we have Hitchens, Lee, and David Irving out there together.
Yeah.
Those three, along with what we have already there, that's why we're doing what we're doing on defense, guys. Along with the running the ball and our offensive line gelling for whoever's the running back. Zeke right now, but who knows in the future. And Dak being the team leader MVP right now. So all these things are why we're where we're at, and it's a team effort. But one side helps the other, meaning offense helps the defense, and then defense puts it away. And that's what they've been showing. They're above average. They're almost a top 10 defense when we are controlling the ball and running the ball on offense.
So, Rotomess, we have to focus on Atlanta now.
Yeah, for sure.
Game changer. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Yes.
And then DJ Crown J. I don't think many teams have an answer for our offense for the rest of the season, with or without Zeke.
Boom.
So, and I think a big part of that is the fact that no one's really sure what our running back situation is going to be with Zeke or without Zeke. So that always helps as well.
And Shallow Hal, we don't know about when we're going to find out about Zeke.
The
it could be
starts Thursday at 2 o'clock,
right.
And they start, going over the evidence and the hearing and deliberating, but we don't know how long.
Lawyers back and forth.
As soon as we know, though, we'll let you know.
It is an appeal. Yeah, it is an appeal, so it shouldn't take too long. But people are saying it could go into the weekend, which means that Zeke could play. Yeah. So that's something to be looking for. But yeah, hit the notification bell, the button right there. Make sure it's on, so when it does break, you get the information, the news breaking from us as well.
Emmanuel Corona, our team's only beginning to strive. If all goes well, we'll be peaking by the end of the season with playoffs still to come. We're on the right track, especially with defense.
Yes, Manuel.
You put it right into words. Ruben Benitez, my opinion, Dak is playing smart. No interceptions, no fumbles. So I think he's had a few interceptions and I think one fumble, but the point is
he has 8 in a year and a half.
Great. Yeah, his stats on that are amazing.
24 games, 8 interceptions, guys. What more he asked for?
And guys, we're going to go ahead and call it a night here. That's pretty much all the news and all we have. Make sure to hit like on the stream if you haven't. Before you head out, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
And don't forget, guys, we have that video before this one that we always do. We're going to do this new system, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it, liking it. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you're new. Hit the notification bell.
If you didn't get all the news while you're watching here, make sure to hop back into that stream so you guys can get all of the news.
Yeah, we did.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, we threw some stuff in there too, guys. So we might have not gone over in depth here. We just get to the point there. So, and here it's just to talk with you guys for the most part. So thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you. If you can't donate, you watch the ads, donate that way, or just donate with your information, your time on here with us, guys. So thank you.
If you want to help support our channel, you can check out our Patreon link in the description down below. And then AJ Vasquez, I think it's going to be Noah Brown that's going to be the receiver that's used a little more. But let's go ahead and see.
He has an injured leg. You're talking about, he has an injured thigh. Noah Brown for this upcoming week.
Yeah, but he's saying that we need
overall
we need another good wide receiver breaking out towards the end of the season. I think if it's going to be anyone, it would be Noah Brown instead of Switzer.
Noah Brown's more involved in the starting packages. That is true. So good point, baby.
But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And never forget.
Never, ever forget. Never forget, guys. Go Cowboys!
Good night, guys. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Peace, guys. Good night. Be safe.
Cowboys.
Be safe and go Cowboys.